A sermon on John 21, 1 through 19. You may think this is a story about another resurrection appearance by Jesus. After all, we are still in the Easter season. While there is indeed an appearance by Jesus after he was raised from the dead, that's not what this story is about. Or you may think this is a story about a miracle. After all, there certainly are lots of stories in the Bible about miracles and fish and Jesus feeding people. But that's not what this story is about. This story is an invitation extended to you, an invitation for breakfast on the beach and a chance to talk to Jesus. Let's step into this story together. We are about to walk on holy ground. Take off your shoes with me and step out into the sand on the beach of Tiberias, on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. The sand is cool on your feet. It's clean and white. Fine grains embrace your toes. Your heels sink gently in as you walk by the dim light of the moon toward the dark, shimmering water. Feel the gentle breeze tingle your skin. Inhale the fresh, moist air, filling your lungs with life. Treasure the aroma of the freshwater sea, a sensation so strong you can nearly taste it. It is so quiet and peaceful. Listen to the quiet lapping at a nearby boat anchored off of shore, the waves kissing the sides of the worn wooden boat like a familiar friend. As you come upon the water, you hear voices speaking in hushed tones, hiding in the night. You know these men who are huddled in a circle on the sand. They are Jesus' disciples. You can't help but overhear their conversation. You note the sad, quiet tone. Only 8 of the 12 are here. They've begun to scatter. They feel confused and depressed and restless tonight, still perplexed by the death, and still shocked by several surprise appearances of a risen Lord. They don't know what to expect of this unpredictable Savior, appearing suddenly past locked doors. What is to be expected? Jesus is gone again. Who knows what happens next? What are these disciples to do now? The disciples discuss their dilemma and search each other's eyes for ideas. Simon Peter, he is itching to do something, to be busy, anything. He's hungry. And fishing is familiar for him. Fishing would surely be comforting and distracting. I am going fishing, Simon Peter announces. We'll go with you, others chime in. Relieved, they drop their tunics to the sand and quickly wade to the boat, in a hurry to ease their dissonance. You sit quietly on the beach, watching the boat sail deeper into the dark sea. The disciples comfortably falling into their regular routine. The night grows chilly and long. But like the disciples, you are not sleepy. Your eyes are clear and alert. Your heart pumps excitedly in anticipation as the scene begins unfolding. And then dawn begins to break. You are no longer alone on the beach. You're aware of a presence. First, you feel it, sense it. Then you notice a new smell, a smoky, delicious aroma. Fish on an open fire and hot, fresh bread. You see Jesus tending the flames with a stick. An abundance of fish. You wonder how long he's been there. Another unexpected surprise appearance. The night breaks into day. The empty boat nears only 100 yards away. The hint of dawn spreads pencil-like across the horizon, and patches of mist and fog rise lazily from the surface of the calm water. The voices carry easily over the stillness. You can hear the deep sighs of the men on the boat, the fishermen frustrated with a fruitless night of fishing. Jesus rises up and stands near the water. He addresses the disciples endearingly, like family. And he says, "You have no fish, have you?" His voice ringing clearly over the water. We can barely hear their answer. No's respond from bent heads. Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you'll find some. Who is this stranger? The voice goes unrecognized. Desperate for anything to happen, they follow his guidance. It may be this figure on the beach knows something that they don't know. They haul the dripping nets away from the left side and cast their nets on the right side. And in no time at all, the nets are full of fish. Listen to their sounds of glee. Watch them unsuccessfully try to pull the heavy, fish-filled nets up onto the boat. Hear the joy in their laughter. A shout rings out. The work of Jesus Christ is recognized. It is the Lord, John bellows. They spring into action, preparing to head back to shore. But Peter is elated at the news. He gathers on his garments and in his exuberance can hardly stand to wait to greet Jesus, and he dives into the water. He swims the football-filled distance, barely beating the boat which was dragging the heavy net. Watch Peter as he runs onto the beach, catches sight of Jesus, and stops in his tracks. Watch his cheeks redden and his dark skin glisten and flush as he hears the charcoal fire crackling. The smell of smoke triggers his memory back to the last time he warmed his hands by a charcoal fire. Just before the crucifixion. You remember, don't you? Do you remember what Peter muttered over the fire? He said it 3 times. I don't know him. I don't know this Jesus. His hands tremble slightly as he stands, suspended, frozen in time, caught somewhere between ordinary and extraordinary. The fish sizzles gently on the fire, and the aroma of bread rumbles your stomach. Jesus speaks. Bring some of the fish you just caught. Peter jumps into action, anxious to relieve the pregnant silence. The rest follow him, and they drag the net of flopping fish from the deep blue sea through the shallow foamy surf, leaving a wet fishy trail of the sand. 153 big fish. They're piled down from untorn nets in a living, leaping, abundant, slippery heap. All eyes are on Jesus, who begins to serve the hot, salty fish and crusty bread. The warm, soft interior warming your body as the sun begins to shine. No one says a word. We eat in silence. Brave men, nervously wishing to acknowledge the identity of our Savior back from the dead. Jesus breaks the trance. He senses Peter's deep pain over the betrayal. He doesn't just say, "Listen, don't worry about the 3 denials thing. Just forget about it." No. He knows Peter's pain is too deep for that, as deep as the sea. No, Jesus wades deeply into the waters of Peter's pain and asks him 3 questions. Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? More than your fishing, more than your comfort zone, more than your busyness. Do you love me? More than your distractions and desires and wishes, more than your career, more than your family, more than your friends, more than your hungry belly, more than your wine. Peter, will you focus on me? Not that cute convertible you've always wanted to have, not your savings account. Will you stop worrying about your bills and your daughter's college money and your to-do list, and let's talk about your jam-packed calendar? That's my time, Peter. Do you love me more than these? Will you set your sights on me, not on all the things that occupy your time? Do you love me more than these? Do you? Answer him with Peter. Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Feed my lambs. He says, feed my lambs. And a second time he asks a question. Do you love me? Will you tend my sheep? Do you love me enough to sit in a pew by a person who is different? Has different skin, has a different idea about what church clothes are, smells funny, sings off key? Do you love me enough to treat the man who leaves the offering plate empty the same as the woman who gives thousands? Do you love me enough to come to meetings with that strong personality person who bugs you? Do you love me enough to get past your shyness and approach a stranger at coffee hour and struggle through a conversation? Enough to bring a fresh baked loaf of bread to a visitor as a sign of welcome? Do you love me enough to not judge those in different faith traditions, to have patience with others who judge you